In this episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief, I sit down with Rob to chat all about the biggest space game we've ever talked about on the show to date, Overbattle. After that, we'll dive into some Kickstarter corner for your listening pleasure. But first, a word about our sponsors. This episode is proudly powered by Jack Sporner and his Dungeons of Infinity that will be on Kickstarter through this morning, 8:52 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So don't dilly-dally in backing this one. We'll chat more about it during Kickstarter Corner. This episode is powered by 60 Second Chef. Quick to learn, easy to play, and super fun. Plus it'll help us get veggies in front of our kids on the tabletop. Who said they had to be edible? Want to know more? Go listen to my interview with one of the designers in episode 255, which was Wednesday on Saturday, 60 Second Chef. It'll be on Kickstarter through Friday the 22nd of March, so what's that, tomorrow? This episode is powered by The Great Nameless, a game of divine might and cosmic horror. Sibling gods declare war on each other while their mindless progenitor threatens to destroy all of creation. It's for 1 to 4 players. You can catch my interview with Josh in their update entitled The Great Nameless, featured on podcast Getting Geeky with Game Relief. This episode is also powered by the Character Casket, a coffin that holds and includes all of your essentials to be a player in a session of D&D. They're almost halfway to their goal and will be on Kickstarter through tax day, Monday the 15th of April. So go ahead and back that before then. This episode is also proudly powered by Solar Flare Games and Robotech Crisis Point. The game has entered production and can now be pre-ordered with some extra pre-order and limited edition Robotech items and exclusives. If you haven't heard it, go back and listen to my episode entitled Robotech Crisis Point to find out more and pre-order it before they run out, because when they're out, they're out. This episode is also brought to you by Heroes of History. For listeners of my show, you can get a 10% rebate by emailing your receipt to sam@bradensworld.com, and he'll give you that 10% rebate. And for the first 10 listeners to leave an Amazon or eBay review, he'll send you an extra 5% rebate. This episode is also powered by Overbattle. Who could tell us even more than the mastermind of this game than Rob himself? We now join our sit-down already in progress.
Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
A millennial peace is broken, the unity has failed, chaos has taken its place. They arrived from places unknown. Their cunning, deceit, and disruption are well suited for a race bent on espionage, treachery, and battle. Their ability to appear meek and simple as helpless wanderers will prove to all their praise and proper lore. As they quickly become welcomed refugees, right away the whispers start in the ears of many, quietly convincing each that one race is better than the other. They have intentions on creating disruption and keeping all that is left for themselves. They are the sin. The three welcoming races have prospered and evolved together for eons. However, peace and cooperation are quickly being replaced by fear and suspicion, which are now spreading like a disease. As the harmony of three systems is corrupted, friends now become enemies. The races have turned against one another and are about to face an all-new confrontation, each other. No one asks who committed the first offense. No one shows concern over their previous ally. None has stopped to consider what sparked the return of these ancient rivalries and distrust. Yet one knows it all and has planned this from their arrival. Each race, with their own unique positioning, work individually to maximize gains and exploit weaknesses. The thoughtful and golden ideas of the Metarians strategize while harboring deep memories of old wars, older legends and remembrances of failure. The Materians find themselves fighting instead of protecting what was once a lasting alliance. The Taborites, mighty, fearless, and strong, now fight for a betterment once only dreamed of. In control of most of the mining and resources, the Taborites choose to yield to no one. The Galicians, bright with their scientific and technical designs, use innovation and past histories to their own advantage. The Galicians are anew with the taste of battle within their midst. Each of the fallen unity battles to hold lands while fighting to conquer others. The Sen, having no original lands of their own, are willing participants in the wages of conflict, all while planning their own agenda. No one knows who'll make the next move. There's no way to fully prepare. Few will survive, and some will have no choice but to wait.
Did that sound familiar to you guys? It didn't to me neither, but this is a story of Overbattle, and today we're lucky enough to be graced by the presence of the creator mastermind of this new game. Is that right, Rob? Is that how you fall in line with Overbattle?
Boy, I'll tell you what, creative mastermind, that's a big title. I'll try to jump into those shoes. Thanks.
Oh, there you go. You got a little bit of time to catch up to that as we're recording this before you launch and everything. Now, before we jump into everything that is all about your game and everything, let's rewind a little bit if we could, Rob. How did you get into playing tabletop board games and whatnot?
That's a good question. I am a dyed-in-the-wool wargamer. Decades of Axis and Allies and that classic World War II genre. So for me, board gaming has always been the multi-hour, multi-piece, big, deep war games. I'm a World War II, probably a German expert, and they say if you do 10,000 hours of anything, you become an expert. And I would say I probably have that expert status, at least in the World War II wargaming genre.
Oh, wow. Too bad my son, too bad my son, Wizard Leaf, isn't joining us. He really is into World War II as well. He's watching all kinds of stuff on the Germans and he really likes the World War II for some reason.
Nice.
So that's awesome. So are you still wargaming today then?
I am. When we decided to take our war game and move it into space. So now we're in a space-based wargaming, but yeah, that's my genre. That area control, tabletop war, that's where I'm comfortable. That's where our game lives, and I'd say that's where our expertise certainly is exactly.
Awesome. So besides Overbattle, what are you playing these days, Rob? If you get any time,
that's a good question too. I'll tell you what. Most recently, I got Azul. And we also have gotten Drop It. We really think Drop It's a great family game. We enjoy that a lot. And those are the two most recent. I've picked up a couple of AEG titles, Scorpius, because it fits my sci-fi background and my interest level there a little bit. But those are the three that I've gotten most recently: Scorpius, Drop It, and Azul.
Cool. I played both Drop It and Azul at my local game group. I didn't really care for Azul. I know there's a lot of hype and stuff. For some reason, it didn't hit my bells or whistles or whatnot. But I really did like Drop It. That seemed pretty fun.
Yeah, it's a blast. It's from a look-see, you get this Connect Four meets checkers meets strategy. It's a lot of fun and a quick 5-minute game. Good family game too.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. We'll have to get it for our family sometime. But so that was pretty cool. Now you talked of being all into the war and stuff, but then you talked of jumping over to the sci-fi. Was there something that transitioned you over that way, or?
I think it's the classic nerd that I'm a science guy. That's just my interest level from a personal perspective. I could be found if I'm watching television, it's probably on Discovery or on the Science Channel. And so I love that. And then my partner, when we started to consider creating our own game, which then became a game company, he said, "Hey, let's make our own war game. Let's set it in space." And I was immediately attracted to that because now you've hit on both cylinders that I operate on. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. And so that just follows up on where my interest levels lie.
Well, there you go. Awesome. Now, probably people are wondering, or maybe they're not, but I know I am. Are you into Star Trek or Star Wars?
I would say Star Trek first, Star Wars second, but certainly into both. Battlestar Galactica, you name it, I'll watch it. But Star Trek first, Star Wars. The new Discovery is very good, by the way. The production quality is outstanding. So Star Trek first for sure.
Well, there we go. Awesome. So that's pretty cool. Now, word on the street is you got, like you've said a couple times, you've created something new, and it's either about to hit Kickstarter or on Kickstarter by the time this releases. What can you tell us about Overbattle?
Okay, Overbattle. Overbattle is your classic area control tabletop war. It's set in space, and so we're trying to control moons, planets, and asteroids for our economy. There are 4 races that are in there. 3 races operate pretty similar, and then the 4th race shows up as a refugee, but they really have their own agenda. They turn out to be a mercenary. In developing the game, we worked real hard to come up with things that are new, and so I've been told that there are elements that are, they use the word revolutionary in gaming, and that's a big set of shoes to step into for sure. But we do have some mechanics that are new, some stuff that's exciting. I was told by another Dukes of Dice. They said, you took the first 2 hours of every war game that people hate and stripped it away and got right to the good stuff. And so that's exciting also. We're big. We operate on a 6-foot board. So it's a 6-foot, it is modular. We can go into those details as we go on the discussion here, but 2-player, about 2 hours on a 3-foot board. Then you add the other sections of the module to get a 4-player, about 4 hours on the full 6-foot board.
Yeah, I remember you guys playing it a while back ago with Michael, the unfiltered gamer.
Yes, absolutely. Michael, good guy, drove out to California. I'm here in Arizona with you, and drove out to California and had a nice day out there and played it. And we played with his wife and with Ferdinand, the cardboard stacker, and Michael and myself all had the opportunity to play together.
And if I recall, you guys didn't let Grant play, did you? He was behind the camera.
No, Grant was running the cameras. He was fantastic on the camera work.
Oh boy, I always give him a hard time about not joining the games and stuff when he's not able to.
Yeah, I did get a lot of good. He gave me some very good feedback and was excited about a lot of the elements himself. I think he used the words, "That is just super cool." So we've got some stuff. The game plays into the story, and the story plays into the game, and that in and of itself is sets it a little bit apart. But then when you find out it is a science fiction based game, a lot of times people forget that the first part of science fiction is science. We got a lot of stuff that's rooted in science, even though we're playing a game. Like the background of the board is actually the Hubble photo image, and it's zoomed in. And so when you see the stars and the pinwheel galaxies and stuff on my playing surface, that's an actual night sky. Now, I did take that night sky and flip it around backwards because we're dealing with aliens on the other side of the galaxy. So their night sky is going to look a little different from our night sky. And so we've taken that same image, our stars, and then turned it around from their perspective. And things like that. Our races are built around real star systems that NASA have identified. And so there's some science behind it. It doesn't affect the gameplay. It's just sort of cool as that science nerd piece starts to creep out a little bit on me.
Well, that's pretty cool. Now they say, what came first, the chicken or the egg? So the theme or the mechanics came first for Overbattle?
Wow, that's the first time I've had that question. The mechanics, absolutely. We knew what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do. I've been guilty of making this comparison that Axis and Allies and even Twilight Imperium, we are all on the same family tree. Just that Overbattle has its own limb. We've got our own branch of the family tree where Axis and Allies and Twilight have theirs over there. And so some of the mechanics, all of our pieces have movement built in. So each piece, once you understand what the piece is, this piece may move 3, this piece may move 6. And so all the movement is just built into the pieces. And then the combat is resolved with a D12 die. We have 40 D12 dice in the box. And that is a nod to Axis and Allies and their war mechanic. All the movement is built into the pieces. And then most of their war is resolved with D6 die, a standard die. But the mechanic first absolutely came first because that's where we were. That goes back to that nod of being war gamers. That's how we understand games and how we play games. And so once we had the space theme out there, now I had to create elements around those. Who are these 4 races? Where are these 4 races from? What do these 4 races look like? Then you've got artwork, and you've got story arcs, and all of those kind of elements that have to work in conjunction. And I've got a whole nice team that we've been working on that nonstop for about 2 years now.
Wow, yeah, that's a long time. So you talk of when it comes to the pieces, in fact, how the movements are made or whatnot. Is it asymmetrical, or does everybody have the same pieces?
They all have the same pieces in different color sets. Now, you have an economy that's different than my economy. Our economy is different from your son's, and it's different from my girlfriend who are sitting in. And we're all 4 playing the game. So our economies are different. That means we're going to buy up different units. Even though we share the same units in our box that we can draw from, your military, your units on the board are going to look different than mine. Mine are going to look different than hers, and all of ours are going to look different than your son's. And so the game has ultimate flexibility in that regard, but shared similarities. So when you play again and you play as a different race, let's say you want to sit in on that refugee turned mercenary Sin race that we have, which is pretty new to gaming, how they work. You're going to already understand how all the pieces play because the pieces don't change. A battleship is a battleship. A mech is a mech. Infantry or infantry. A destroyer is a destroyer. And so just because it's in a different color and owned by a different race, it rolls the same, it moves the same. It's how you're going to move yours versus how I move mine that make the difference in the war.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. Now, you said there's 4 races, is that right?
There are. We've got 4 races in this in the Kickstarter release, and then we've got a 5th and 6th race via an expansion that we're working on. And so we can scale it up to 6 guys, and the 5th and 6th, the 1 through 4 are pretty cool. Number 4, the Sin, are really cool, but 5 and 6 are equally as exciting. So ultimately, Overbattle is going to play 6 people over a 6-foot board, and then we've got a 2-piece replacement section. You could actually play on 2 tables if you wanted to, with a wormhole and jumping back and forth between boards, and it really becomes some sort of spectacle that's a lot of fun.
Now you're making me jealous that I haven't been able to play it
yet. Nice. We're close.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to see if we can work something out. So we're sitting down, me and my son and you and your girlfriend are sitting down to play. What is my turn going to look like or consist of, Rob?
Okay. Again, very good, astute question, which we find players experience that, but I haven't had that asked by an interviewer. So good job. The role of your movement looks the same as my movement, looks the same as everybody's, and it's a 5-phase process. The first phase is you're going to declare, where am I going to attack? Where am I going to expand my units? Where am I going to try to take over more moons and asteroids and planets? Because that's going to give me more economy. If I can take control of them, I'm going to get more economy. And so you declare, I'm going to try to go over here. I'm going to try to go over there. I'm going to try to stay home over here. And so you make those declarations. That's phase 1. Phase 2 is you're actually going to do the combat. You're going to move your units into that space. And if my units are there and you move units into my space, we're going to get it on. So we're going to fight right in that spot. And so you move all of your units and we resolve combat. That's phase 2.
Okay, so before you move on, Rob, sorry, when you resolve the combat, unfortunately I haven't played any war games. Me and my wife really want to get into it, I think. But I've played Risk. Am I going to be able to roll against you when you come against me?
Absolutely. So what we're going to do It's a last man standing situation where there are 3 outcomes. You're either going to fight until you win, I'm going to defend that space until I win, or one of us are going to stop. I'm going to retreat, or you're going to cease your action of attacking me. And so we're just going to roll, and you bring in 5 units, and I've got 3 units sitting there. We're going to roll. You're going to roll 5 dice. I'm going to roll 3 dice, and we're going to resolve conflict. If you've rolled successfully, you may take out some of my pieces. If I roll successfully, I may take out some of your pieces. And we're just going to go through attrition until it's the last man standing. Or you decided to stop attacking me, probably because you got your butt kicked a little bit. Or you beat me up so bad I don't have anything left and you've earned that space. And so we just roll and roll and roll. There's no limit to the amount of rolls, but usually you're going to resolve combat in 3 rolls, maybe 5. Often in just 2 or 3 rolls, you're going to resolve the combat pretty quickly.
But it only comes with 4 die?
40.
Oh, 40. Okay, that sounds a lot better. I was thinking 4. That makes a lot more sense now that you say that.
10 D12s per player are the combat dice. We do have a D6 for each color that you also have. That's your initiative dice. You're going to roll for initiative each round. And what we've done, it's a variable setup, so the game's never going to play the same twice. When you put your moons and planets out there, it's going to be different than where I put my moons and planets. So that's going to automatically make for a different game tomorrow. As war gamers, the stuff never moves. Britain is always in the same place. Germany is always in the same place. Russia was always in the same place. And so the better you get at playing a particular war game, part of your expertise comes in knowing what's going to happen, because you've built this pat move. You know what's going to come. You know how to respond, because it doesn't change. Well, we looked at war games and said, let's fix that. Not that that's necessarily broken, but I'd rather have a different game every time we sit down. And so we have a different game every time you sit down. That changes. Your pieces are going to be different. Where the races are going to be different. And so that becomes pretty exciting. And then I can go on to the other phases if you want me to. Yeah, sure. We fight. Oh, I was going to mention that D6, the initiative die. The initiative, when you're in war, when you play a regular game, what happens if you got to play checkers and you got to go twice? Or you started all your pieces right out in the middle instead of on one side or the other of the board. Take your favorite game, and if you got to go twice, wouldn't that make it a different game?
Yeah, for sure. Checkers would throw me off because I'm usually playing 2 or 3 moves ahead. That's a game that I can beat my family at. The only one about.
There you go. So in war's chaos, and we sort of built that chaos engine right into the game. What if you're waiting on reinforcements? You've taken your turn. Everyone's taken a turn. We roll this initiative dice, and we determine what the turn order is. We all take a turn. And now in war, we've all asked for reinforcements to come and help us, and we've called in our troops, and whatever the case may be. Mine don't arrive in time because they get stuck with a flat tire. Yours, we're in space. Yours drift off into a nebula. Somebody else's, theirs show up in time. Why would they sit there and wait for the next person to go? So what we do is we roll the dice every round to determine play order. The possibility of going last and then turning around and going first is a game changer. So we build that into the system by default. So it's very smooth that you actually could go last, get a little beat up, get to do your own reinforcements, roll that initiative dice, and get an opportunity to go first. And that changes the game. It's a way to, no one's ever out. We call that 4X refined. 4X games, a lot of times you end up with someone who just gets beat up so badly that they're sitting around for 2 hours just twiddling their thumbs. We have a hope mechanism, that 4X refined hope mechanism, that I hope I can reinforce and get to go again. And if I get to go again first, this is going to change the game for me. And so the guy at the last is never so far out that he can't recover. And the guy who's out in front is never so far out in front that you can't catch him, because he may end up going last the next round. He was flying high at first, Then he had to go last the second round because he didn't earn initiative. That changes how war games are played fundamentally.
I like it. That sounds pretty cool. Now, I don't know if it ever happens to you in wargaming, but isn't this going to throw off people who might want to look at their phone while they're waiting for their turn?
That's a that's a good question too. So is that distracting to you when folks bust out their phone? I've been asked why didn't you create a video game instead of if you had the opportunity? Yeah, you had an opportunity to create a game at company and then create a game, which is what we've done both. Why is it a board game? And we say, well, it's that classic put away your phone, turn off the television, go enjoy some social interaction with your friends. And because so much is going on so frequently, we get a lot less of that phone use in our game. And then I would give you a hint that when we do the player expansion, that is one specific area we addressed with the player expansion that that's going to change gaming once again. But nevertheless, you don't have a whole lot of time to look at your phone in this game. It may be 3 hours, but it's a very fast 3 hours. You're going to check your watch and say, I can't believe 3 hours have gone by.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear. Now, talking about the expansion again, that was my question. I had forgot it initially. But when it comes to the 5th and 6th player, will that be something available on the Kickstarter, or is that going to be later on down the road?
It's going to be in the fall.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, what we need to do is we need to build that base. We need to build that user base, get that game out there, and have some of that user base excited about being able to play Overbattle, and then turn right around and provide an opportunity for an expansion.
Okay, awesome. And so we've gone through the battle of the game. We've done initiative. Are there any other phases, Rob?
Good. So phase 3 is non-combat. Anything. So phase 1 was declarations. Where am I going to fight? Phase 2 is the actual combat. Phase 3 is anything that didn't move in combat can now move. So you, in essence, can move every unit you have on the board every round. Potentially, you could move every unit every round. So a non-combat phase, then you get paid, then you spend that money and you buy your reinforcements. Traditionally in wargaming, you might earn an economy and you don't get to spend that economy until the next round. Well, if you're into wargaming quite a bit, you may find I earned this space and then I lost it again. I never got to reap the reward. I went and fought for it a second time. I earned it again, and daggone it, I lost it again. I just can't hold it long enough to be able to spend that economy. We said, let's fix that. Not that it's necessarily broken, but if you've battled for something, you should reap the rewards of that. And so we provide that reinforcement phase as the last phase of our turn. You get paid, you get to spend your money and bring in your reinforcements. Then we roll that initiative dice and have a chance to go again. You may go, reinforce, go again, reinforce again. That's how a small guy is no longer a small guy, and he has hope that he can actually turn this around.
Well, there you go. That's awesome. That will hopefully it'll help me so I'm not always losing when I play against my family.
Nice. There you go.
Awesome. So that's really good. So when it comes to Overbattle, what makes your game pop as one my audience should go check out and then back it on Kickstarter if they like what they see, Rob?
Thank you for the question. Overbattle is different. Thematics play into the game so much so that we have people play at conventions and then come up the next day. It stays with you. They start talking and asking questions the following day. 2 days later, we'll play on a Thursday, and on a Saturday and Sunday, they still come back and ask questions and ask to play again. It's a game that's going to stay with you. Most of the time, I think we play a game, we put it away. This game will stay with you. You will find it. I treat it as an experience more than a game. When you play Overbattle, I reference it as you've experienced it. So you've experienced it. You'll get it once you play. You'll see. Visually, we use bright colors. We have 4 races: a beautiful blue, a beautiful yellow, a shiny brown, and this it's almost a strawberry red. But when they lay out on the board with the planets and the actual night sky out there and pinwheel galaxies and things like that on the play surface, all those colors are very attractive. It's a good-looking game. There's a lot of eye candy there, but don't let the eye candy fool you. It's a serious game. You can get in. If you're a war gamer, Overbattle will kick you in the stomach because that's what you're looking for. You want that serious come away from the game like feeling spent. I just was in a battle. I was in a war, and I feel like I won, but I was in a war. It's tough. Um, if you're happy-go-lucky and you just, I can't believe you did that, John. Wait to see what I'm going to do. It'll play like that too. It's a lot of fun. It'll deliver on both sides of the aisle, that fun side and that serious side, and then leave you with an experience that you're thinking about. How do I play again? What do I change next time? And that's different. You're going to experience, you'll feel it in your stomach before you've even rolled your first dice that, my goodness, maybe I should have done something else. Because when you set up your planets, you're going to put your planet where I'm not. I'm going to put my planet where the next guy and gal's not. And you start to feel that angst as we develop the game. Part of the setup is actually part of the game. We hated that you'd spend a half an hour setting up a traditional war game before you ever got to play. Set up 45 minutes before you ever got to play. Traditional war games play 8, 10, 12 hours or 2 days or whatever. We didn't have that kind of time to set up. We don't have that kind of time to play over two days. We've got lives and families. And so we fix that. Setup is part of the game. When you sit down, you're playing the game 2 minutes after you've sat down and you're ready to go. You unbox it, you're ready to play. Because when you place your first piece on the board, that's play. Setup is part of the play action. And those are just different cultures than you see in gaming as a whole. In any game, it's different. And those differences, I hope, translate to something that people will come away with. I don't have a better word, but they'll come away with an experience. They'll tell me, you're right, that was quite the experience.
Well, you've sure got my interest piqued and intrigued. I've been trying to formulate a way I can come up with a couple hours so I can sneak away to experience Overbattle with you, Rob.
Absolutely. There you go. And we'll make it happen. You find some time, we'll certainly make it happen. We're close enough. There's no reason we can't.
There you go. That'd be awesome. Now, what do you call it? Let's see. Now, when it comes to Overbattle, what kind of funding goal are you going for on your Kickstarter?
It's big. We've got 1,000 pieces, over 1,000. Each person has over 250 units at their ready, over 1,000 units in the box, a 6-foot neoprene board. There's no cardboard in the game. All the planets and moons and asteroids are individual neoprene elements. And so the funding goal is probably going to be right there about 70,000. It's a big game. Big.
And this is your first game, isn't it?
It is my first game. It's not my first business, nor is it my first foray out there in creating things from an agency perspective. That's what I did for a living. But as far as gaming, it is our first game. When you see it, that's another thing I think that blows people away. They can't believe it's your first game. And they also can't believe it's just the prototype. When you play, because we've been touring since Gen Con. I've been at 12 different conventions, from Gen Con to PAX Unplugged, PAX South. We're at PAX East in 2 weeks at the end of March. We're at PAX East. We were at SaltCon, some local regional conventions like Kansas City Midwest Game Fest. We were at FlatCon, RenCon in Tucson, Arizona. We've been all over the place, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of different experiences for sure.
Okay, awesome. Now, so maybe that's how you're combating it, but a big question is, a lot of the times when I see first-time games coming to Kickstarter with big miniatures and big games, they go for if anytime it's over $50,000 on Kickstarter for a funding goal, they tend to struggle to make it to that funding goal. Can't remember. I think Wanderers might have been one of them. I don't remember the exact names, but they seem to have to relaunch. It sounds like you kind of just barely told me, but what are you doing to combat that?
We've tried to, and pardon the pun, but I've tried to build my own army. To be out there and show people that first-time Kickstarter, and that's, by the way, that's a great question. The first-time Kickstarter connotation, I think, sometimes gets a bad rap. It's right in the middle. to be honest, it's right in the middle. Some Kickstarter people deserve to be that first-time Kickstarter failure. Unfortunately, I think they just haven't put in the time. They haven't put in the energy. And I'm not saying that we should be rewarded for doing so. That's not my call. That's the public's call. But I will tell you that we've been on the road at almost 50,000 miles of total travel to allow people to see it and build that sense of trust, build that sense of community that, no, this is real. And I tell people at the conventions, once they experience it and they say, man, this was something else. And I said, when I'm on Kickstarter and the trolls are out there, they're going to be out there, support us. Come in there and help us fight that fight. And so, while, yeah, I'm first-time Kickstarter, I am a super backer. You find folks that launch on Kickstarter and they've backed one project in their life, or no projects, or 2 projects. I'm pushing 100 projects on that, and that's on my corporate side. That doesn't include my personal side. There's another dozen on my personal side. So I'm a super backer on the last couple of years. I enjoy the platform. I understand the platform. I support many different genres within Kickstarter, not just the tabletop board game side, but theater and different things. And so, and being approachable, being out there, people can call me, they can text me. When you send a message on Facebook, it comes to me. You send a message on Overbattle or Scyther Gaming, I'm the guy who reads that message. And so that approachability, that openness, that access to me, I hope makes the difference. People have to vote with their wallet, and I understand that, but allow them to see the sincerity and the realism. It's a real game. We've been out there showing it from Gen Con forward, all the PAX events and you name it. It's just a lot of times those first-time guys don't have that. They just haven't done their homework in terms of proving that it's a real game. And so hopefully I've done enough in the community's eyes that they know it's a real game and they see me out there.
Awesome. Yeah, great answer. It sounds like you've done your homework and done the different things that I usually suggest to these people when I see them the first time creators come on there or whatnot. So that's awesome.
Thank you. I don't know any other way. I've always ran my business. When I ran the agency before starting the gaming company, I always told my guys, my team, just do it as if you were on the other side of the desk. Do it as if you were the customer. What do you want to be heard? How do you want to be spoken to? How do you want to be addressed? What things are you looking for? And so I don't know any other way. I don't know that it's right or wrong. I'm not sales slick, that kind of stuff. I don't understand how to be sales slick. I just try to be real and provide as if I were the customer. And so that's the same direction we've done with the game, to be as open and as approachable and as available as we possibly can be, that nothing's behind the curtains. Come look at it, come see it, come touch it.
No, that's awesome, because a lot of the time, I know Richard Bliss on his podcast said you don't have a funding problem, you have a crowd problem. So it sounds like you've combated that by trying to get the crowd, or like you said, your army beforehand.
Yeah, build my army.
So that's awesome. Yeah, we'll have to see what we can do to go ahead and try to get together so we can play Overbattle or experience Overbattle together. Now, mine is coming there to Arizona to stalk you personally. How would people go about keeping up with you and what you have going on leading up to and after and during the Kickstarter?
Okay, so the Kickstarter, we launched March 19th. If you're listening right at March 19th, welcome. I'd love to have your support right away, of course. The quicker, the better. It makes it for an easier ride. We're at PAX East in Boston, the last weekend here of March. And so if you're on the East Coast, join me with 85,000 other people and come on over to PAX East. I've got a 20-foot booth in the tabletop area. Sit down and play. Come play. Sit down and play it, see it, experience it for yourself, and then support us if that's what it takes. So that's one way. Once we kickstart and we know where we're at on the kickstart, we'll play out our agenda going forward. I've already got my space for play at Gen Con 2019 in Indianapolis. That's in August. So if you don't get on this first experience, maybe you can get a second printing way back then in August. But right now, the easiest way to get us to actually see it is come on out to PAX East in Boston, and to contact us. I'm on Twitter, Scyther Gaming Co. It's Syther. I'm on Instagram, Scyther Gaming Co. Syther Gaming Co. We're at overbattle.com. That's going to take you to our landing page for the Kickstarter. Overbattle on Facebook and Scyther Gaming on Facebook, Syther. And so I just try to be as absolutely available as possible. You can hit me up on any of those, and let's chat. I'll answer any questions that you have. We're even thinking about creating an FAQ for the Kickstarter, so I can reference the FAQ where people will have the ability to go in and actually look at gameplay questions from the FAQ perspective. Traditional FAQ.
Well, there you go. That's awesome. So if you get me those links, I'll make sure I go ahead and leave those all in the show notes so people have an easier reference or whatnot.
Awesome. Thank you.
Now, we don't want to keep you all day, but we really appreciate you, Rob, taking time out of your busy day and schedule collecting that army to come and join us on Getting Geeky with Game Relief to talk all about Overbattle that is either on or about to launch to Kickstarter when you're hearing this.
Thank you so much to everybody listening for your time today. And thank you, too. You do a good job. You're almost a superhero in as many episodes as you knock out. So good work.
Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it.
All right.
Wow, I was blown away by that interview. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get together to play before he launched. Don't think I won't still keep trying, as I am still super pumped. If you like what you heard or see on their Kickstarter page, make sure you back Overbattle so we can get this campaign into overdrive right away. It excites me every time I hear Rob talk about his game. Let's go ahead and make it a reality. Go back it now on Kickstarter. If you're going to be at PAX East, go find him and play a game of Overbattle for me. You know what else I'm excited for? Kickstarter Corner. Hit it, Princess Leaf.
What is this place? What is it doing here in the Leaf's computer? Oh, it's Kickstarter Corner with the Leafs.
Wow, Dungeons of Infinity is so very close to being funded, 96% with less than 17 hours to go at the time of this recording, so you very well could be the one that pushes it over the threshold. Dungeons of Infinity is a board game for 1 to 5 players. It features random dungeon creation, solo, co-op, competitive, or story mode. Want to hear what we thought of it? You should go see what I thought along with Princess Leaf and Barbarian Leaf in our Family Fun Day Friday episode 18, Archon and Dungeons of Infinity. We'll leave our link to the episode on BGG in the show notes. Go give it a listen and make sure you back Dungeons of Infinity before 8:52 a.m. Mountain Standard Time today, which is the 21st of March. Don't dilly-dally. As you know, I'm a big fan of tableau building games like Machi Koro and Valeria Card Kingdoms, so I was so very excited to see Valeria Card Kingdoms Crimson Seas on Kickstarter. And better yet, they're not bringing us 1, not 2, but 3 products in this Kickstarter campaign: Crimson Seas, an expansion to Valeria Card Kingdoms, Ward Towers, a Valeria Card Kingdom expansion pack, and Corsairs of Valeria, a standalone dice game. Watch for a review from myself and Wizard Leaf and possibly the other Chickles as soon as Snack Leaf gets back to school and back their campaign before Tuesday the 26th of March, so you don't miss out on the fun. Have you heard of or seen Fuzzy Mage Fight? It's a card game for 2 to 6 players in which you play as fuzzy mages with unique abilities, fighting to become the most magical fuzzy mage ever. Their campaign was funded in 6 hours, and in case you missed it, I sat down with a couple of the creators. You should go give that a listen. It's easily found by going to their campaign page and checking out the update entitled Huge Update, Lin and Yesh, a new 35K stretch goal, and so much more. It's at the very bottom. Speaking of at the very bottom, on the link to the interview at the bottom is also a giveaway for Fuzzy Mage Fight. And just by subscribing to our podcast, which I know you already are, you get an extra entry into that giveaway. So go ahead and get entered right now, and then back their campaign before Wednesday, the 27th of March. Imagine if Clue, the board game, was thrown into a hobby board game of cards that had a cool mechanic in it, in which you couldn't see all of your cards, but your friends could. And you were trying to thwart the murderer before the actual crime went down. If you did this, you'd probably have a note for murder. It's a race against time to prevent a crime set in the world of Sherlock Holmes. Deduce the criminal, their weapon, and the planned location of the murder before it occurs. Want to know more? Well, go give my interview with Michael, the publisher, a listen in their update entitled Player Abilities. Either way, back at before Thursday, the 11th of April. Viking Jarl is back on Kickstarter. It's a fun and exciting strategic board game about Vikings, Norse mythology, pillage, trade, and conquer. Sam Healy of the Dice Tower had it on his top 10 anticipated games of 2018. It's back on Kickstarter, and this time, it's going to rock our socks. There is a giveaway with the Giveaway Geek going on as we speak, as well as we'll have Richard back on the show to talk all about it again. So make sure you're subscribed to Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf in your favorite podcast catchers so you don't miss that. Go check out the Kickstarter page and back it before Thursday, the 18th of April, so we can relieve some of Sam Healy's anxieties. In case you missed the extra episode I threw out into the world yesterday, go give it a listen. We talked all about Nightlife tabletop game. What do you think? Yeah, my sentiments exactly. It's a tabletop game about wizards in the 80s. So strap on your leggings, leather boots, or rollerblades and don't fear the Reaper. You can easily find that interview in case you still haven't gone back and listened in their Kickstarter update entitled Nightlife was featured on Getting Geeky with Game Relief. Okay, now you've listened for sure. What do you think? I'm also way pumped about it. Love me some of the 1900s. But now it's our least favorite time and your least favorite time as well. Time for us to get on with our lives and you to get on with yours. But in the meantime, I hope you'll get geeky, stay geeky, and bring others into the geek fold by sharing this podcast with them. And we will catch you guys on the flip side. Game Relief out.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.